There are Silverado owners out there right now, driving a truck that can do things they have never even tried. There are simple hacks that cost less than a tank of diesel, take less than an hour to do, and solve problems that Chevy dealerships charge hundreds of dollars to fix. Some of them are built right into the truck already and just need to be turned on. Others cost less than a trip through a fast food drive-thru. These are 10 genius hacks that the dealership will never mention and the owner's manual barely covers. Number 10. Put your block heater on a $10 outdoor timer. If you live in a cold climate and you are plugging your block heater in the night before and letting it run for 8 or 10 hours straight, you are wasting electricity and getting zero additional benefit. A typical Silverado block heater draws between 600 and 1,000 watts. Running that for 10 hours a night, 5 months a year, adds up fast on your electric bill. The engine only needs about 2 hours of preheat to reach optimal starting temperature. After that, the block hits a thermal equilibrium where it is just radiating heat into the cold air as fast as the heater puts it in. Pick up a basic outdoor appliance timer for about $10, set it to kick on 2 hours before your morning start time, and you get the exact same warm engine with roughly 80% less electricity. If your morning commute starts at 7, set the timer for 5. Your oil is warm, your coolant is warm, and your engine fires right up without that cold start grinding noise. Number 9. Double your bed lighting with a second factory LED kit. The stock Silverado bed light setup is underwhelming. You get 1 or 2 small LEDs near the front of the bed, and everything from the middle of the cargo area back to the tailgate sits in shadow. The factory LED bed light kits that GM sells as accessories are plug and play. They wire directly into the existing bed light circuit, with no splicing or cutting required. The hack is buying a second kit and mounting it on the opposite side of the bed, or further toward the tailgate. Each kit costs roughly $60 through aftermarket GM parts channels, and the install takes about 20 minutes with a basic socket set. The wiring connects into the same factory harness, so both kits turn on with the same switch or button you already use. 2 kits give you wall-to-wall coverage from the bulkhead to the tailgate. If you have ever tried to find a ratchet strap or a tie-down in a dark bed at 6 in the morning, this $60 upgrade pays for itself the first week. Number 8. Use 4-wheel drive auto mode on the highway in rain and snow. This one sounds obvious, but the number of Silverado owners who leave their truck in 2-wheel drive during a snowstorm is staggering. The transfer case on most Silverado 4-wheel drive models has a 4-wheel drive auto setting that is specifically designed for on-road use. It keeps the truck in rear-wheel drive during normal conditions and electronically sends torque to the front wheels only when the system detects wheel slip. It does not grind the transfer case on dry pavement. It does not hurt fuel economy in any meaningful way on wet or snowy roads where you need it. And it does not cause the binding and drivetrain stress that leaving the truck locked in 4-high on dry sections can. If you have ever driven past someone in a ditch during a winter storm and thought about switching into 4-wheel drive, 4WD Auto is what that setting was made for. Number 7. Install flush-fit running boards for rocker panel protection. This sounds like it belongs in an accessories catalog, not a hacks list. Here is why it qualifies. The 2 worst rust points on a Chevy Silverado are the cab corners and the rocker panels. Both of them rot from the inside out because road salt, gravel, and moisture get flung up against the body by the tires and settle into seams where factory paint coverage is weak. Running boards that mount flush against the body act as a physical shield. They block that debris spray from ever reaching the rocker panels in the first place. The key word is flush. Round, tube-style Nerf bars leave the rocker fully exposed. You want a flat, wide-profile board that sits tight against the body and creates a barrier between the tire spray and the sheet metal. Truck owners in Salt Belt states who installed flush-fit boards early have reported significantly longer rust-free body life compared to identical trucks parked next to them without any protection. The boards are not a cosmetic upgrade. They are armor that also makes it easier to get in and out of the cab. Number 6. Swap in a magnetic drain plug on your front and rear differentials. Some Silverado model years come with magnetic drain plugs on the differentials from the factory. Some do not. If yours does not, you are missing out on one of the cheapest insurance policies in automotive maintenance. A magnetic drain plug costs about $5, threads into the same hole as the factory plug, and catches ferrous metal shavings that circulate through the gear oil between fluid changes. Those shavings are a normal byproduct of gear operation, especially during the first 50,000 miles, when the ring and pinion are still wearing into each other. Pull the plug during a fluid change, and you will see a paste of fine gray metal particles clinging to the magnet. That is material that would otherwise be floating through your gear oil and grinding against the bearing surfaces. Catching it before it recirculates extends the life of the differential and gives you an early warning if something more serious starts wearing internally. If the amount of material on the magnet suddenly increases from one change to the next, you know to investigate before a full failure happens. $5 for that kind of diagnostic information is the best deal in truck ownership. Number 5 is where this gets really interesting. Number 5. Unlock full-screen Apple CarPlay on 2022 and newer Silverados for free. If you own a 2022 or newer Silverado with the 13.4-inch infotainment screen running Android Automotive OS 12, you have probably noticed that Apple CarPlay only takes up a portion of the display while Android Auto gets the full screen. GM made that decision, and they did not give you a setting to change it. But the infotainment system has a developer settings menu buried deep enough that almost nobody stumbles across it on their own. Go to Settings, then System, then About, and tap the build number entry 7 times until a message confirms that developer mode is active. That unlocks a new developer options menu inside the system settings. Scroll down to smallest width, change it from the factory default to 1280, and restart the infotainment system. CarPlay will now take up significantly more of the display. The GM sidebar shrinks down, and the CarPlay interface expands to something that feels close to full screen. It is free, it takes a couple of minutes, and it is completely reversible. If you ever want to go back to the stock layout, just reset the smallest width value to the original number. No adapters, no dongles, no monthly subscription, and no permanent changes to the truck. One note, not all 2022 and newer trucks shipped with Android Automotive OS 12 from the factory. If you do not see the build number option under About, your truck may need a software update first. Number 4. Install a tailgate assist shock for $25. Every Silverado owner knows the feeling. You unlatch the tailgate and it drops open like a drawbridge with nothing to slow it down. If your hands are full, which they usually are when you are loading the bed, that tailgate slams the chains at the bottom and the whole truck shudders. A tailgate assist shock is a single hydraulic strut that bolts onto the driver's side of the bed using existing mounting points. No drilling, no modification, just a bolt-on strut that controls the drop rate so the tailgate glides down gently instead of crashing. You can open the tailgate with one hand, let go, and walk away while it lowers itself. Companies like DZ and Barricade sell them for $25 to $30, and the install takes about 10 to 15 minutes with a ratchet and a couple of sockets. For a $25 part that takes less time to install than an oil change takes to drive to the shop, it makes the truck feel like a different vehicle entirely. If you found this helpful, I go through the comments on every video, and I cover Silverado ownership tips like this every week. Hit subscribe so the algorithm actually shows you the next one. Now, the final 3 on this list are the ones that save you the most money. Number 3. Spray fluid film inside your cab corners and rocker panels before rust starts. This is the single most important preventative hack on the entire list if you live anywhere that uses road salt. Silverado cab corners rust from the inside out. The outer paint can look perfect, while the inner panel is already corroding because salt-laden moisture gets trapped between the inner and outer body panels in seams that never dry out. Road salt gets kicked up by the rear tires, mists into the gap between the inner and outer cab corner panels, and sits there through every rain, every snowmelt, and every humid summer night. By the time you see bubbles on the outside, the metal behind it is already perforated. Fluid film is a lanolin-based, non-toxic spray that creeps into seams, displaces moisture, and leaves a waxy protective coating that does not crack or trap water the way rubberized undercoating does. Stay away from rubberized products like traditional Z-Bart or spray can rubberized undercoating. Those products harden over time, crack, and then trap moisture underneath where it accelerates the rust they were supposed to prevent. The key with fluid film is application. You need to get the product inside the cab corners, inside the bottom of the doors, and inside the rocker panel cavities. Some owners drill small access holes and plug them with factory-style rubber grommets afterward. Others use the spray can version with a long, flexible extension wand that snakes up through existing drain holes at the bottom of the panels. A gallon of fluid film with a pump sprayer runs around $40. Cab corner replacement panels plus bodywork, primer, paint, and labor runs well over $1,000. Apply it once a year before winter, and you are looking at decades of clean body panels instead of rust through at year 7. Number 2. Swap to an aftermarket transmission pan with a built-in drain plug. GM decided, in its infinite wisdom, not to put a drain plug on the transmission pan of most Silverado automatic transmissions. That means every time you want to change the transmission fluid, you have to unbolt the entire pan, try to lower it evenly while 6 to 8 quarts of hot fluid waterfall into whatever you have underneath, clean the pan and the magnet, replace the filter and gasket, reseal everything, and bolt it all back together without cross-threading anything. The fluid goes everywhere. Your garage floor looks like a crime scene, and it is the single biggest reason so many Silverado owners skip transmission fluid services entirely, which is exactly how 8-speed transmissions end up shuddering at 40,000 miles. The fix is a $50 to $80 aftermarket pan from companies like PML that comes with a magnetic drain plug welded right in. You install it once during a full filter service, and every future fluid change after that is just pulling a plug, draining into a clean catch pan, and refilling through the dipstick tube. Clean, controlled, 15 minutes. You still drop the pan every 3rd or 4th service to change the filter itself, but those intermediate drain and fills become so easy that you will actually do them on schedule instead of putting them off for another 10,000 miles. Number 1. Use L9 and tow/haul mode as a free DFM and auto start-stop disabler. This is the single most valuable hack on this list, and it costs absolutely nothing. If you own a Silverado with dynamic fuel management, you already know the complaints. The engine cycling cylinders on and off, the occasional shudder, the anxiety about lifter failures. And if you have auto start-stop, you know the engine killing itself at every red light and lurching back to life when you lift off the brake. Aftermarket DFM disabler modules cost $200 to $300. Auto start-stop eliminators cost another $100 or more. But here is what nobody at the dealership will volunteer. On trucks with a 10-speed transmission, using the paddle shifter or manual mode to select 9th gear, commonly called L9, is the one gear where the ECU disables DFM entirely. The engine runs all 8 cylinders and stays that way. Pair that with pressing the tow/haul button, and you also disable auto start-stop, which GM confirms in the owner's manual. Tow/haul also gives you higher line pressure in the transmission, firmer shifts, and engine braking when you lift off the throttle. You do not need to be towing anything. You do not need a trailer attached. You can drive around in L9 with tow/haul engaged every single day. The shift points will be slightly different, and fuel economy might drop a fraction, but you are running all 8 cylinders, the engine is not shutting off at lights, and the transmission is getting firmer, cleaner shifts with more protective pressure behind them. For a lot of Silverado owners, that trade is worth it every single day of the week. 10 hacks. Every single one under $100, most of them under $50, and the best one on the list is a button that is already on your gear selector. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing and we will see you in the next one.